she pull up, and I'm like, nigga, who is that?
We got the magic happening. Girl, the feeling is great and I'm loving it. Hey, we got the magic happening. Everything that we need, everything that we pay, girl, the magic's happening. And the feeling is great and this feeling is great, girl, the magic happening. It's happening.
So, me and Michael, how we actually met, I was just, browsing Backpage, and he had a deal going. I was like, I want that ass.
Right. I had a special going on for $40.
But I gave him 45 because he was nasty. No, for real. How me and Michael met was actually unique. This girl that I knew, she saw that I was dealing with guys that she just felt weren't up to par, and she's like, if you talk to these bums, like, I know somebody, I don't know him, but I've seen this guy that I think would be perfect for you. So I guess you could tell your side of how she approached you.
So I was at the barbershop getting my hair cut, and I used to always see this girl in there. She always got her hair cut. And so she came to me like, you got a girlfriend? I'm like, no. But I thought she was trying to hit on me. She wasn't my type. I was like, no, I ain't got a girlfriend. But I ain't looking. She's like, no, not for me, but I got somebody in mind. So I'm like, oh, okay, you got a picture of her? So she sent the picture, and I was like, oh, she looked kind of fat. But not saying I got nothing against fat people. But I was just like, okay, like, cool. So I gave her my number. She sent it to India. And before my haircut was done, India had texted me like, hey, this is me, introduced herself, and we ended up connecting with that day.
Yeah, so even though he thought I was a little juicy, he still came to see what the juice was about.
So, I ended up pulling up on her, and she came out to the car. We ended up vibing for a couple hours, and the rest is history. No,
it ain't history. So at first, he had his cousin set it up to call him as an out, just in case it wasn't what he thought it was, in case he thought it was like one of those Friday situations.
So, I hit my cousin up like, I'm about to go see this girl. Call me in 10 minutes and say it's an emergency, just so I can get out the situation if it's not what I thought it was. And he called me, and I was just like, no, we good. He like, no, bro, like, I need you to come. I'm like, no, we good. He like, bro, no, it's an emergency. So I'm like, no. He's like, oh, she's straight. I'm like, yeah, she good. So.
But I think it was all perfect timing as well, because when we met, I was getting ready to go off to boot camp. So I was leaving the next month. So we exchanged telephone numbers, and I got his address. So we actually became best friends, and what is it, pen pals? So he wrote me the entire time I was in boot camp. So that allowed me time to get to know him as a person and get to know the real person he was.
Yeah. We wrote for what, like a year?
So it was supposed to be going 6 weeks. I ended up getting injured in boot camp, and I ended up staying there almost 9 months. So from 6 weeks to 9 months, I was there. So it gave us a lot of time to get to know each other, and I feel like it was all in God's plan for us to build that foundation.
I shot the shot. We met by my guy's crib. She came by to get some food because it was summertime, barbecue type shit. So she was lurking on IG. My guy was thirst trapping. He put the food out there. She like, can I come get some? He like, cool. She come through his barbecue action. So she pull up, and I'm like, nigga, who is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Like, so she pull up, and she came and got her food, and she greeted my guy, and she was passing out hugs. He tried to shake my hand, and I'm like, what I said?
I don't want a handshake, I want a hug.
I don't want no handshake, I want a hug since you handed them out, you know what I'm saying? So when she gave me the hug, I knew, you know what I'm saying, she was digging me and shit, you know what I mean? Because otherwise she wouldn't have did it, you know? But after that, you know, it's an IG love story, you know? I'm like, yo, what's her IG name? I get that, jump smooth into the DMs. It started with a couple Insta story likes, comments, and then, so my number is this if you want to talk outside.
Okay, so I shot my shot first. how it went though is kind of like it's like my shot was like the longest shot ever.
I love that story.
Because I had to make sure, like, I didn't want to just. This is Milwaukee. It's small, you know what I mean. So like, you gotta like be sure before you take that next step. So like, when I think I met her like my birthday. Well, I know I met her like that birthday trip in Houston, and like I think we was at some like fish joint. I forget the name of it, and she came in. That's where she like met up with us. And I was like, damn, like, you know, right away you see, like, damn, she coming back. Then she had also, like, white pants, you know what I'm saying, toxic guy shit. You know, you gonna check the ass out and everything. But after that, I was like, okay, I see her, she dope and everything. Like, she my type and everything. Then you just, like, see where her head at. So, like, through conversation, you see where her head at, what her, like, conversation like. And I think I said something like, I said something where I was like wrong, which is like usual, you know what I mean? So like, she corrected me, but it's like, how she corrected me was like, I think that like the tact and how she did it was dope. And that like caught my attention and made me like I don't know, caught my attention and made me interested in her. So I think like over the next few events, cause it was one of the shindigs or whatever, I was just peeping how she moved and everything, slowly throwing my little jabs in there, putting in work. And then I think since we was like, the opportunity didn't present itself naturally in Houston. And I didn't want to just like force it. So I was like, fuck it, I ain't gonna force it. Even though like I know we stay in Milwaukee. So like somehow we got like exchanged Twitter accounts and stuff. And like she'll be saying stuff. And I think it just came on me one day to just be like, man, she said something. I was like, man, this is your shot right here. You gotta go right now. Because if you don't go right now, like you might as well be like, fuck it and move on. You know what I mean? So like that's how the first shot happened. Like I jumped in her DMs.
So it really just happened kind of because we were at his sister's house at a gathering when his father had passed. And I was being interrogated by his brethren, I guess you can call it.
Say brethren,
and they just basically called it what it was, and we had a mutual agreement on it. And then I want to say probably like 2 days later, he came to me. We were laying in bed actually, and he was like, you know, I don't want you to feel like that was something that was like forced. You know, we've had conversations about this. But, you know, I do have a question for you. And
just to clarify where she's going is, what they were asking is like, oh, yo, Mark, is this your girl? And I was like, yeah. And so she said, oh, you wifey, huh? You missus? And she was like, yeah. But it was kind of on the spot type of thing in which we did not make that clear, but then continue.
But then when we were laying in bed, he asked me if I would be his girlfriend, and of course I said yes. About time, but yes.
I was her boyfriend like 6 months before, basically.
Okay, so I feel like within our relationship at the beginning, I was more of the aggressor, and I feel like I kind of pushed him into the direction that I needed him to be guided into. So as I said, we were friends, and while I was gone, we became pen pals, and we just called ourselves best friends. So for a while, we're just like, that's my best friend. And then as time went on, I was like, I'm gonna give you time. You got into the end of the year, so I got back in July. And I was like, I'm gonna give you to the end of the year to get all your hoeing out your system and do what you need to do, and then you mine. But I told him even before that, while we were going, like, you're gonna be my husband. Like, I just knew, like, he was the person for me. Like, I don't feel like I ever connected with anybody like that. Like, I think when you go through certain things, you're like, oh, like, I love you. But then once you really find love and you find your best friend and the person you're supposed to be with, like, it's a whole different level.
Yeah, I kind of knew the day that I met her. I won't say, like, it was love at first sight. I won't be that person. But when I did meet her the first day, I knew she was going to be part of my life in some way, form, or fashion. Like, she was kind of a unique person to me. Like, the reason that I was so attracted to her is because she was honest. And I wasn't used to that. So that was the first thing that kind of like made me attached to her.
So, like you said, basically in Houston, the gesture that I made, he loves shrimp. So his favorite seafood is shrimp. So he said something like he never seen shrimp.
Oh yeah.
He never seen like a full-headed shrimp, and I'm like, well, did you know that shrimp are bottom feeders? And he was like, no, but can you help me open it? Like, so I'm like, yeah, I'll help you open it. And then from that point on, obviously, you know, I didn't know, I was oblivious to the whole, you know, I'm having fun. It's my first time in Houston, my first shindig event, and basically how the start of the relationship happened, me still being oblivious, just saying stuff on Twitter when I get off of work, like, man, I wish I could go for a drink tonight after work. And somehow he just said, like, we should go. And I'm thinking to myself, like, cool, I'm gonna meet up with this dude that I met in Houston, and, you know, nothing's gonna be wrong with it because I know how he is, I know how he moves, so I'm cool, I know his brother. So it happens to be like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And at that time, he had messaged me in my DM, like, where you want to go or something like that. And I was just like, I don't know. Then he said something like, it's too late now, so we could just go to breakfast. And I'm like, cool, where you want to meet? And he said, coffee makes you black. So I'm like, how did you know I want to go there? And then, because a couple days before, I said, man, I haven't been to Coffee Makes You Black in a long time. So I felt like he was just following my whole little brain, like, without even knowing that, you know, I've said all these things. So he was paying a lot of attention to me. But me still being oblivious to the point where, like, he kind of liked me, and I'm still like, you know, hey, how you doing? What's up, bro? Like, you know, I'm just one of the fun girls. So it happens that we end up going to Coffee Makes You Black, and I just seen him, like, he seemed taller, and then I'm just like, hey, how you doing? So we go in, having a good time. I mean, it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't leave till like 2. In the conversation, he just kept saying, like, you know, what's your favorite this? What's your favorite snack? I'm just like, okay, like, this is dope, but I don't know where this is going. So still kind of pushing it off, trying to play cool. So it happens that I'm off on Saturdays at this time, and he was just like, well, this all you gonna do today? You don't have nothing else to do? And I'm like, no, I don't have nothing else to do today. He was like, well, I just can't let you have a lousy, crummy off day, so I'm gonna send you the details for the next steps. I was like, steps? So basically, I felt like this is the stuff that when a man starts to plan things for you, now I know he likes it. So that really caught my eye when he said, I'm gonna send you the details of, you know, what the next steps are. So here I am. I text Kayla, like, bro, this is a date now. So I end up texting a lot of my friends, like, I don't know if I'm on a date or whatever. So here it comes, like 4:55 in the evening, like, hey, you want to go see the Joker? And I said 2 days prior, I wanted to go see the Joker on Twitter. And I'm just like, everything just kept relating back to Twitter. So I'm like, yeah, I want to go see the Joker. So once we end up deciding, like, okay, the Joker was the movie, he said, well, do you want me to pick you up, or do you want to meet me there? I'm like, well, at this point, it's a date, so you can pick me up. So I do a test in my mind, a mental test, because he's 6'5", so I have to put on some heels to make sure that he's tall enough while I'm in heels. So I end up wearing heels or whatever. And we go to the movies, you know, we order a drink. He ordered a drink for both of us. I think you ordered a mimosa or something, some type of drink, a mojito. He knew that mojitos was my favorite drinks from Houston. So he ordered me a mojito. And I was like, this guy has been paying attention since Houston. So it all started to add up to me until we get in the movie. Once you know, the Joker was about 2.5 hours long. And I was getting tired. So once I caught on to the backstory of the movie, I felt like, okay, well, this movie's about depression. So I'm getting a little sleepy. So he's on the right of me. So I'm nodding off to the left, trying to still be cute without being, you know, too pushy. He was like, well, you know, you can lay your head on my shoulder. And I'm like, I can lay my head on his shoulder. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was still like a real big shock to me. And once I did that, I felt like the Bob Marley song, like, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing's going to be all right. Once I did that, that's what I heard in my head when I laid on his shoulder. So that is how it happened. Well, how Austin asked me to be his girlfriend, I really think that it was super organic, because I always see things like, I'm kind of like a glitz and a glam girl to a certain extent, and then I'm kind of tomboy it down a little bit, but I love to be like wild, because nobody really ever wowed me before. So I set a precedent or a standard, like, my man has to wow me, and if he want me, he's gonna have to show me in a extravagant form. So I used to send them little pictures like, hey, this is dope, ain't it? Like, by the time we were still like, you know, boo and bayish type of mode. But it didn't take long, because we met like in July, and then, you know, August, September. I guess he was paying attention to me from that time. And then in the beginning of October, you know, we obviously chatting it up. So here I am. I'm shopping, getting ready to go to Kayla's bachelorette weekend party. So I'm like, dang, I gotta find something to wear. You know, I got these shoes. And I was like, dang, I want this shirt, this Pusha T shirt. So I'm talking on the phone with him, just telling him like, babe, I want this Pusha T shirt to go with these Jordans. And he tell me, like, I already got it. I'm like, how did you get it? Like, when did you get it? So we were both in the store, and I guess he had went back maybe a couple days later to get the shirt, because I kept looking at it to go to my shoes, and he ended up telling me he got the shirt. So I sent Kayla the message, because I just feel like she knows everything about the relationship. So I'm like, no, guess what? Austin got me this shirt or whatever. And he asking me questions like, hey, babe, what time you gonna be home? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know. He like, you gonna be home around 6? I'm like, yeah, I should be. So I go home, you know, just vibing out. I think he ended up calling me or something. You called me on your break.
Yeah, text or something.
Text or called me on his break. Or we were texting maybe. And I was like, dang, babe, I'm hungry right now. I'm gonna go to get a salad. So I ended up going to Metro Mart, get a salad. And I seen these orchids. They only come out in October. They are purple orchids, and they are only blossomed in October. So I sent him a picture of these orchids, like, babe, look how beautiful these flowers are. And then I guess he was like, LOL. But in the back of his head, he like, this is not what I did. So I had ended up, you know, getting back in the car, you know, Close came on by LMA, and I would just listen to the words of the song. I'm like, this song really make me think about Austin. Like, I feel like since I met this man, like, he just brings like a different type of light out of me, and that song just pulls me to thinking about him every single time I hear it. So it started to play in the car, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know what's going on, but every little move just started happening. So I get a call about 30 seconds from getting to my house, 30 seconds, right? And I'm jamming, the music loud, like, yeah, this made me think about him, so I tweeted it. I said, Close by LMA make me think about my honey. I get that phone call, Flower Man, I'm at your door. And I'm like, a flower man? Like, how did this man know that I wanted these flowers and they're at my door? That's what I'm thinking, because I just sent him a picture of some flowers. So I get to the door, And oh my God, I don't know what that little Chinese man did. But he opened them flowers up with that little card and sit them down up in my little art district inside of my unit. And that song was still playing on my car phone. And I just could not believe it. So on the card, it just said, "Will you be my girlfriend, Austin?" And I was crying. I was bawling, like on my knees bawling. And at that point, I had to FaceTime Kayla because I was on the ground. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was at my knees and I was wild. So,
I didn't know that.
And that's how it happened.
I mean, it's funny because Crystal holds a lot of the same qualities my mother does. And I don't even want to, like, I was just talking to my guy, and when my guy was joking with me, like, dog, if she not robbing Raimi, I don't know who is, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's funny when people say men want women like their mother, but that's what we relate to. That's what, you know, we loved first. And, you know, when you see some of the same qualities in a woman, that, you know, those qualities of devotion, love, motherhood, all those types of things that you see, it's hard not to understand and know that that person is that person you're supposed to be with.
For me, it was more so a connection and a vibe and a friendship, because, you know, in order to have something last and have it be forever, you need to be more than just lovers. You gotta be friends.
You gotta be lovers though.
Yeah.
But you gotta be lovers though.
Time
now,
with that, though.
whoa.
But yes.
Whoa. Okay, we're not married, so we can't really go into that. Okay. but get your love.
But I looked for, not really looked, but I wanted someone who could make me smile and laugh, and we could talk, have an actual conversation, and someone who showed leadership. You know, if you want me to be submissive and if you want me to allow you to lead, I need to see that you're capable of doing so. So he demonstrated everything and above, and it just went from there.
You want to go first?
Just from being around people, I feel like I wanted a friend. So
You wanted a friend, why?
because being around guys, most guys is like, damn, I gotta go home. Like, damn, I gotta hear them off. I gotta do this. I gotta, you know, they kind of have that fear of their spouse. Like, you shouldn't have that. So my number one thing was like, I just want to be friends. Like, I want to be cool. I want to be able to do everything with you. And that was my number one thing. Honesty was probably my number one. That's my number two. Friends. Honesty is number one.
I think I was just looking for someone who was down to earth, who accepted me for me. Like, I have the type of mentality where I'm like, I'm gonna do what makes me happy. I don't care what people think about me. And so I just wanted somebody who accepted me, flaws and all. Cause I know, like he said, I'm just like, let's do it. Like, we could go somewhere and I'm like, let's jump out a plane. And he's like, no, like that ain't safe. We got kids. But I live a little bit more on the edge, and I wanted somebody who's willing to accept it, but also be able to rein me in when I needed to be like pulled back. Like, wait a minute, let's think about this. I think what I love about Michael is I love his honesty. I love how he analyzes things. Because again, I'm the type of person, I'm just like a doer. I just do things. Whereas he'll think it through and he'll tell me 3 different scenarios. Like, no, if you do this, this could happen. Like, I love that he actually has my best interest at heart. And so far, I haven't caught him in a lie. So I love his honesty.
I'm just a good liar.
A real good one.
A real one. India is the best person. I can't read your hand. No, what I love about her most is she's willing to put like me first. And I don't mean that in like she's submissive or anything like that. I just know she's always looking out for me. And she's just done that since day one. Like, you helped me with my credit, all of that.
So, I remember starting off, somebody had used his name for We Energy Bill. And Mike was like, I'm not paying that. And I was like, but you are. And he's like, no, I'm not. I was like, well, I'm going to bring you the money and I'm going to pay it. And I think this was, were we even together then? Mm-hmm. We were still best friends. And I'm like, I'll pay it for you. And I brought him the money. And I remember he told me, like, my mom was like, what is you doing to that girl? Why is she paying all your stuff? Yeah. So people may say tricking, but ain't tricking if you got it. But no. I just always wanted the best for him. Like, he just showed me his genuine self. He accepted me for who I was. And I just wanted nothing but the best for him. Whether we were going to be friends or be my husband like I told him he would.
Yeah. I feel like, so when I met her, I was in a great place. I had a car, I had my own house, had a good job, and then I ended up, losing everything? Mm-hmm. So I felt like she was the one that like made sure I was straight when I was at my lowest point in life.
Even though he didn't tell me like he was going through all these struggles.
Yeah.
It wasn't until after the fact he was like, yeah, I was, homeless. And I'm like,
I was homeless for a year.
Yeah, I'm like, how were, but I didn't even know that, but I was still living at home with my mom at the time. And every weekend I'm like, we get in a hotel. And trust me, it wasn't no hotel. We stayed at the Motel 6, but we made it do what it do, baby. So every weekend we would go to the Motel 6 and we would, chill out. And then once I found out his situation had changed and he didn't have a place to stay, I was like, okay, well, we're going to get an apartment. And he was like, no, I don't want to give nobody no money that we could be put into our own house. So we actually ended up buying a house. Like, we wasn't in a relationship a full 4 months, and we already purchased the house.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a big thing for me. So that's when I feel like I was like, I'm gonna marry her. She didn't know it, and we was kind of early in our relationship, but she really like held me down when I needed her.
So you with me because I held you down, or because you love me, boy?
I'm saying that's part of it. But I don't mean like held me down, like I'm in jail. I just feel like she was my first win in life. Like, she really like put me on the right path to where I needed to go. So
I enjoy our conversations. And how if I say something crazy, he'll always take my head and kiss my forehead like, babe, come here. Come here.
She went to Riverside, she kind of slowed. So.
What? No, I'm not. That's so rude.
It's okay.
He has his moments.
She has moments, and I had to be like, come here, baby. You know what? Okay. Give me your head. Okay. I know you went to Riverside.
It's not true.
Okay.
It's not true.
It
King
is.
people, I tell you. But I like that. I just like our communication.
What? You do not like our communication.
I do. We can actually sit at the kitchen table and have a conversation for hours.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Hours. And look at the time, like I cannot believe it's midnight.
That's facts. But I'm always, I gotta work on my communication all the time. What you tell me though.
Certain kind of communication.
I mean, keep it a buck right here.
But,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Please.
He's getting a lot better. He has gotten a lot better.
See, I have to stop to let her finish. This is like regular stuff. This is real, dog. But
he's still working on it though.
What I enjoy about her is that she's interested in what I'm interested in. You know what I'm saying? She's like, I play poker, so I remember the time I was playing poker, I was watching my vlog, and she like watched it with me. She said, hey, I want you to teach me how to play poker. And I'm like, what? Girl, I will kiss you with your mouth right now. You wanna play this with me? Teach you how to play. I asked what I asked you. Did you ask him what? Did you want to play some poker? No. Actually, she has some money. Because at the end of the game, we're gonna play cards. You got some money? Because
you gotta show me the
no. If you playing, you gotta have something on the line. If you playing, and you gotta.
We did not start playing like that at first.
That's because I was being nice.
You showed me the ropes, and then because I was making not good decisions, you decided to add money to it so that I would step my game.
Exactly, because
and make better decisions.
But when you got the money, you made better decisions. That's what
I did.
But I like that she's interested in what I'm interested in. Yeah, it's something about that. Like, somebody's, she wasn't interested in it. She likes that I like it. You know what I mean? So,
The magic happening. Girl, the feeling is great and I'm loving it. Hey, we got the magic happening.